The spiritual stones are in their place, and the door of time has been opened, allowing Link passage into the sacred realm where the Triforce lays. This is what our entire quest has been building towards. Link, isn't that... It's that legendary blade. The Master Sword. Inside the Temple of Time, in the hidden chamber at the back, Link doesn't find a magical portal to the sacred realm. He finds only a sword. The blade of evil's bane, the sword that seals the darkness. The Master Sword. Resting here in the pedestal of time, in this giant chamber at the back of the temple, the Master Sword's chamber. I love this one window with the sunbeams pouring down on the Master Sword. Something, well, fittingly divine about it, with just the quiet chanting of the Temple of Time in the background. And here as well, on this hexagonal platform, we have these, the medallions of the sages, which will become relevant later on. So Breath of the Wild, which obviously includes the ruins of this Temple of Time, especially the front, looks exactly the same. It's basically one-to-one, just ruined obviously by the time of Breath of the Wild, tens of thousands of years after this. But those ruins on the Great Plateau don't include this back chamber, where the Master Sword lies, which does appear in other games that feature this same Temple of Time, like Twilight Princess. Anyway, without further ado, let's walk up to the pedestal of time and pull the Master Sword.
Yes, excellent work. As I thought, you held the keys to the door of time. You have led me to the gates of the sacred realm. Yes, I owe it all to you, kid.
Link. Wake up. Link, the Chosen One. I am Rauru, one of the ancient sages. Ages ago, we ancient sages built the Temple of Time to protect the entrance to the sacred realm. This is the Chamber of Sages, inside the Temple of Light. The Temple of Light, situated in the very centre of the sacred realm, is the last stronghold against Ganondorf's evil forces. The Master Sword, the evil-destroying sword that you pulled out of the pedestal of time, was the final key to the sacred realm. Link, don't be alarmed. Look at yourself. Look, Link, you're big now. You've grown up. The Master Sword is a sacred blade which evil ones may never touch. Only one worthy of the title of Hero of Time can pull it from the pedestal of time. However, you were too young to be the Hero of Time. Therefore, your spirit was sealed here for 7 years. And now that you are old enough, the time has come for you to awaken as the Hero of Time. Well, do you understand your destiny? But remember, though you opened the door of time in the name of peace, Ganondorf, the Gerudo King of Thieves, used it to enter this forbidden sacred realm. He obtained the Triforce from the Temple of Light, and with its power, he became the King of Evil. His evil power radiated from the temples of Hyrule, and in 7 short years, it transformed Hyrule into a world of monsters. My power now has only little influence, even in this sacred realm, namely this chamber of sages. But there is still hope. The power of the sages remains. When the power of all the sages is awakened, the sages' seals shall contain all the evil power in the void of the realm. I, Raru, am one of the sages, and your power to fight together with the sages makes you the hero of time. The hero of time, chosen by the Master Sword. Keep my spirit with you, and find the power of the other sages and add their might to your own. Raru adds his power to ours, manifested in the Light Medallion. You received the Light Medallion. Raru the Sage adds his power to yours. Find the other sages and save Hyrule. So, that's the big mid-game twist of Ocarina of Time. We enter the Sacred Realm, but it's not as we expected. By pulling the Master Sword, we become sealed within for 7 years. And the Hyrule we explore now is not the Hyrule we left. Link, we're back in the Temple of Time, but have 7 years really passed? It looks like you won't be able to use some of the weapons you found as a kid anymore. Let's get out of here. I've been waiting for you, hero of time. When evil rules all, an awakening voice from the sacred realm will call those destined to be sages who dwell in the 5 temples. One in a deep forest, one on a high mountain, one under a vast lake, one within the house of the dead, one inside a goddess of the sand. Together with the hero of time, the awakened ones will bind the evil and return the light of peace to the world. This is the legend of the temples passed down by my people, the Sheikah. I am Sheik, survivor of the Sheikahs. As I see you standing there holding the mythical Master Sword, you really do look like the legendary hero of time. If you believe the legend, you have no choice. You must look for the 5 temples and awaken the 5 sages. One sage is waiting for the time of awakening in the Forest Temple. The sage is a girl I'm sure you know. Because of the evil power in the temple, she cannot hear the awakening call from the sacred realm. Unfortunately, equipped as you currently are, you cannot even enter the temple. But if you believe what I'm saying, you should head to Kakariko Village. Do you understand, Link? It's been 7 years since we entered the Temple of Time. Hyrule has changed, but so have we. We're no longer a child, we're now adult Link. And you might notice that now we're an adult, we've grown some C buttons, which is something that happens to all of us at one stage in our lives. I was just annoyed at constantly misinputting, so I've decided to put the C buttons on for this part. But yeah, a huge amount to unpack there, this part of the quest. This, as I said, is the mid-game twist of Ocarina of Time, and reveals so much about the game and its story. One of the most important things, I think, to take away from this is the fact that the hero of time is sort of fulfilling a prophecy that existed before Link was even born, passed down by the Sheikah tribe in the Legend of the Temples. But it's not only what Sheik said, it's also what Raru said, that we were too young to fulfill the role of hero of time. So a bit like I was saying in episode 1, with the foundations of the Great Deku Tree seeming like they're a trial for Link, it seems that he was predestined to go on this journey. And that's one reason that, although other Links in different games are able to pull the Master Sword as a child, this Link has to be an adult, and that's to fill this role in this prophecy as the hero of time. But yeah, Ganondorf has followed us into the Sacred Realm and taken the Triforce for himself. So, the Hyrule that we will emerge in when we leave the Temple of Time is not the one we left as a child. So, are we ready? Let's see what's happened to Hyrule Castle Town. Hyrule is a smouldering ruin. Death Mountain in the background is erupting with violent flames, and the town itself is a desolate hellscape. You can hear the wind whistling through the ruins, which, if we head into the market, what was once a bustling market town filled with conversations and laughter and children and commerce and gossip, is now this, the blackened ruins, infested by the living dead. You'll notice these re-deads, they don't change the camera angles when they scream. I think that's because of the fixed camera angle at this point in the game, which is much nicer, much less scary, but still, what a horrifying twist. What's Navi got to say? Should we believe what Sheik said and go to Kakariko Village? We will, but first, I want to head north to what that is on the horizon there, which was Hyrule Castle in the child era, but Hyrule Castle is no longer. In its place is Ganon's castle, a monument to the glory of the King of Evil. Which, very similar to Tears of the Kingdom, actually, levitates above a pool of what could be lava, what could be gloom or malice or something of the kind. And a dark ring of smoke circles the summit. Obviously we can't go there for quite a long time, but still I thought I'd come and show that off. As it's the capper on the story of what has happened to Hyrule. Those smouldering ruins of what was once Castletown down there. I also wanted to show off up here, up on this hill, where there was once a gossip stone. This is the cliff we climbed where Malon was at the bottom. And of course, that was once the gatehouse, where the guard was there that we bribed to get through. And up here, where there was a gossip stone, now there's a skeleton, of this great beast. There's a rib cage and a skull. There's something that the 3DS version added quite a cool extra detail to there, which is that it added the helmet of a Hyrulean soldier, or a guard, inside the rib cage of that beast. So you can either believe that perhaps he was consumed by it, or maybe he died fighting it and managed to slay it before he himself was killed, which is really cool. But yeah, that's Ganon's castle. Let's head back through Castletown, and let's listen to Sheik. Let's head for the Sheikah capital of Kakariko Village, avoiding the terrifying undead. But before we do, we're going to head into here, which was the pot building with that mysterious guard. And if you remember, the guard said two different things. He said he's bored and he wishes there were more troubles in the world. Then after that, at night, he said he's really interested in ghosts. Now, in his place, is this character, with a purple hood, white robes, and a Triforce symbol on his stomach. Oh, you are quite an energetic young man. You're brave and handsome too. Heh. Your name is Link, isn't it? Heh. Don't be surprised, I can read people's minds. If I looked as good as you, I could run a different kind of business. My shop is the only ghost shop in Hyrule. Because of the great Ganondorf, it is a fine time for a business like this. Oh, I can only hope the world gets even worse. The ghosts, called Poes, are spirits of concentrated hatred that appear in the fields and graveyard. They hate the world. Young man, if you catch a Poe, I will pay a lot of money for it. This is the Poe collector. You can see instead of a head, there's a single red eye. So, it's easy to assume that this is indeed the guard who was here before. Some bottles of what perhaps are alcohol beside him, and a little sketch of the Triforce as well. A Poe lantern up there. It's easy to assume that this is the guard who was in the gatehouse. I don't think that's too much of a mystery, considering what that guy was saying before. But what is a mystery is what has actually happened to him. Obviously, he now follows and perhaps worships Ganondorf as the Great Ganondorf, the ruler of Hyrule 7 years later. But that doesn't explain what's happened to him, where his head is. Which is quite a creepy little mystery there, the Poe collector. And although we will have a side quest involving him later on, we don't know his story. Other than the fact that he was probably the guard, we don't know what happened to him. So heading out into Hyrule Field, we can see that the area surrounding Castletown is still in ruins. The drawbridge, for example, has collapsed into the moat. But the further we head away from Castletown, the more normal things become. Interestingly, there's no Stell children in the future timeline. Even though it's night and I'm running around on the grass, Stell children don't spawn. There are other different enemies in Hyrule Castle, in Hyrule Field, in this, which we'll see slightly later on. Perhaps may or may not be linked to what the Poe collector was saying. But for now, let's do what Sheik told us to do, and let's head to Kakariko Village, which was the home of the Sheikah, of course, and was opened by Impa to take in refugees during the Hyrulean Civil War. And we'll see very soon that an echo of that has happened again. And refugees from the destroyed Castletown have moved into the ancient Sheikah home to take refuge and shelter from Ganondorf's new world. So, there is actually an important item we need to get from Kakariko Village, which is the whole reason I'm here. But before that, I'm gonna turn it to day. I'm going to turn it to day, and we're going to do what we did the first time we arrived in Kakariko Village, and we're just going to talk to people. We're just going to try and learn what we can about what's happened here. So here, these are the two dancing people, the jugglers in Majora's Mask, who were just dancing and chatting in Castletown. But now they're here in Kakariko. Wahahaha! Look at this guy. Ever since he escaped from Hyrule Castletown, he's become even more timid. Oh, okay, alright. I tell you, I saw him. I saw the ghostly figure of Dampé the Gravekeeper sinking into his grave. It looked like he was holding some kind of treasure. Okay, little clue there. Let's head up to Impa's house and see what's going on here. So this is the house, obviously, where we found the cow, and we got our... Is there an extra... Can I get a heart from one of those? No. There was the cow in the cage, but now Impa's house is where a load of people from Castletown move in. Apparently that only happens at night, though, so we'll come back here in a second, in the evening. But for now, let's keep walking around. There's someone up there we can talk to. There's the man on the roof, where we got a piece of heart before. But most importantly is this guy. So this was the man who told us about the Sheikah in Castletown, the shadows of the Hylians. A long time ago, there was a man in this very village who had an eye they said could see the truth. Now, usually, you have to train your mind's eye most strenuously to actually see the truth. But this fella, no, they say he had a different way of doing things. His house stood where the well is now. So that's interesting. There was once a house where the well is, where there was a man who could see the truth, which will become relevant much later. This house here didn't exist in the past timeline. It was just construction work. It was scaffolding and a pile of bricks where we picked up a sculpture at night. But now, it's completed, and is where the shooting gallery has moved to. So, from the ruins of Castletown, this guy has relocated to Kakariko Village. Obviously, we can't do anything yet because our slingshot doesn't work for Adult Link. We can't even equip it. But we'll be coming back there when we've got a ranged item more appropriate for an adult. What's in here? Yeah. All people have hardships in their past that they would rather no one find out about. Look at the bearded man sleeping over there. I bet even someone like him has had his share of troubles in the past. The bearded man is Talon, who is fast asleep. Malon, doing all right, mumble, mumble. Sorry to make you worry. So he's fast asleep, and just like in the child era, we're going to have to wake him up later on. Look at him, the man with the beard. I think he was fired from his job at the ranch. He's always just lazing around, morning, noon and night. He's an awfully carefree guy during such hard times. So, Talon has apparently been fired from Lon Lon Ranch, where he used to live in the past. And we'll be heading there. After Kakariko Village, we'll head to Lon Lon Ranch to see what's changed there. We already know one thing, and it doesn't sound particularly good. This guy here from Castletown, who does the same thing, will buy items from us, but only items in bottles. Let's head up this thing. I've always wondered what this actually is, this structure in Kakariko Village. I assume it is just a watchtower. I don't see what else this would be, and it would make sense, I guess, for a town in the world of Hyrule to have a watchtower. Look at me, I'm on top of the world. It really bothers me to see anyone at a higher level than I am. I have to be on top. Okay. I think we can still do the jump. Oh no, maybe not, because we can... Okay, do we end up Z-targeting him, or can we jump? Let's try. No, okay. Perhaps. Because of that, I can't do the jump that I did in the child era. Not that it matters, because we'll be able to do it. We'll be able to do it in a second. Okay, thank you. Let's just hop down. We'll be able to get up on that roof in a second, where we got before. And we've already received the item from it, which is a piece of heart. So in here, as well, this is another establishment that's moved from Castletown to Kakariko, the bazaar. Still selling the same things, you know, Hylian Shield, Deku Nuts. What happens if we talk to you? We moved here from the Castletown. I know times are tough, but I hope you'll be a steady customer for us. Awesome. So yeah, it's very interesting that Kakariko Village has become the de facto capital of Hyrule, with Ganondorf having destroyed Castletown. This is the potion shop. Welcome. An old witch runs the potion shop behind this one. You can get to that shop through the door to the left of the counter. Let's do that. So this obviously sells various things. You know, there's bugs. There's a Poe, which is what the guy in Castletown was talking about. A bottled ghost spirit. Sell it to someone who is crazy about weird things like this. A fish. Blue fire. You need an empty bottle to put this in. Use it to feel refreshing coolness. So that'll become relevant later on. A fairy spirit. You need an empty bottle to put it in. And some potions. Let's head into the back. Let's head to this potion shop he was on about. So this brings us out into the secret area of Kakariko Village, where we headed over here with the cuckoo last time by diving over there. And now we can head up this ladder. There was again a cuckoo up here. To one of the weirdest places in Ocarina of Time, in my opinion, this area in the adult timeline, where here you get the couple, from the dancing couple from Castletown. Heh, what an annoying person, interrupting us like this. Don't you agree, my love? Can I talk to the other one or no? Violating our personal space. He must have something better to do. Don't you agree, darling? So they've come up here just for some peace and quiet, behind the windmill. But still, this whole area is very strange. So there was a cuckoo up here in the past, so there was some point to it. But in here, in the adult half, there's no point. There's this, an incredibly heavy boulder, which we can't bomb, we can't lift. Even later on in the game where we get items that allow us to lift heavy objects, we can lift this, but there's nothing beneath it. There's no point in it, which is very strange. You know, always stood out as odd. There's the windmill here, which we'll head to later. And I've realised that I've jumped off, so I can't get to Granny's potion shop. But that doesn't matter. We'll see Granny later on. Other than that, there's the cuckoo girl to talk to. I bred a new type of miniature cuckoo. I call it the pocket cuckoo. Okay, so this is the beginning of the Big Goron Sword trading quest. So I don't want to take this cuckoo, because that's a whole giant side quest that I don't want to start at this point in the game. So, with everything there done, let's head into the graveyard and see what awaits us here. And then I will turn it to night to see Impa's house later on. So, the Kakariko Graveyard, where Dampé and the Graveyard Boy hung out in the past. But now if we head into the Gravekeeper's hut, we can see there's a new entry in his diary. Whoever reads this, please enter my grave. I will let you have my stretching, shrinking keepsake. So, at some point between the child and adult eras, Dampé has died. One of the most interesting things in Ocarina of Time, because of this time jump, this is the magic bean plant we planted in the past, which allows us to get up here and grab another piece of heart, which is number 20, giving us a new heart container and a new row, which is cool. There's a Poe over there. But yeah, one of the cool things about Ocarina of Time is looking into the differences between the characters' lives in the past and what's happened to them in this horrific new future. But if we pull back this grave, we can drop down into question mark? So this is Dampé's grave, and over there you can see the spirit of the Gravekeeper. And we never find out what's happened to Dampé between child and adult era. All we know for certain is that he died. There's the Gravekeeper's diary, which talks about him being dead in his grave. So we either have to assume one of two things. We have to assume that, one, he knew he was going to die, and so he wrote that entry in his journal, or two, his ghost wrote that in his journal. And I don't know which one's creepier. But either way, this is his grave, which is quite cool, and similar to the royal family's tombs in terms of the aesthetic. These kind of stone columns and Hylian text behind. But let's see what Dampé has to say. Young man, are you fast on your feet? I may not look like it, but I'm confident in my speed. Let's have a race. Follow me if you dare. And it begins the Dampé's grave racing, heart-pounding tour. I don't know if this has a name. Maybe it does. But he'll lead us through his grave, which is, for whatever reason, a great winding maze-like sequence of tunnels. Let's not get hit by these fires. And you just have to stay very close to him and not get hit by the fires. Don't get through the door. Ooh, that was close. Yeah, you want to stay close to Dampé so he doesn't get too far away, just so we can get his stretching, shrinking keepsake, which perhaps sounds a little bit strange, but when you see what the item is, his description of it will make sense. Or maybe you should have worded it slightly differently. And he goes up here, let's not get lost. There's a ton of extra weird stuff in here. Maybe I'll come back at some point, but for now I'm focused on actually making it. Yeah, if we come back later, there are some weird kind of dead ends and things in this area, which kind of strike me as very strange. But that should do it. If we talk to him here... The time of this race was 1 minute 5 seconds. Young man, you were very quick to be able to keep up with me. As a reward, I'm going to give you my treasure. It's called the hook shot. Its spring-loaded chain will pull you to any spot where its hook sticks. Doesn't that sound cool? I'm sure it will help you. I live here now, so come back again sometime. I'll give you something cool. One more thing. Be careful on your way back. Interesting. Yeah, he drops us a chest which contains one of the most useful items for us, the hook shot, because it does essentially very similar things to what the boomerang did for Child Link, allowing us to grab things like gold sculptures that are out of our reach, and you can drag distant items towards you, but it also allows us to pull ourselves towards whatever those distant targets are, which is really, really useful. But anyway, leaving Dampé's tomb, closing that door behind us, puts us in this cave here, where the way is shut, blocked by these two mysterious blocks. Navi's got something to say. Hey, isn't that the same design that's on the Door of Time? Maybe it is. Let's find out. So just like with the Door of Time, if we play the Song of Time, the blocks vanish. So similar to what I pointed out in Goron City, where there were those two blocks in the middle of the lava, two Song of Time blocks, playing the Song of Time causes those to disappear. But what's actually happening here is way more interesting than that. What's actually happened there is they've been transported to the past. The Song of Time has moved them through time. So, although I can't get to this point as Child Link, if I came back to this exact point, I would find two Song of Time blocks, the ones I'd sent back through time. And the lava room in Goron City is the only place that kind of shows that mechanic off in the main game. I believe there's examples in Master Quest, but in that room in Goron City, you see them as Child Link, and when we return later as Adult Link, we'll only know how to solve the puzzle because we saw them as Child Link. We'll have to summon them into the future, which is really, really interesting. But anyway, if we head up these stairs, we find ourselves somewhere familiar. Inside the windmill, where the Song of Storms is playing. But let's not mess up this jump. Never particularly great at Ocarina of Time platforming, but we've done it for our 21st piece of heart. Now let's head down and talk to this guy, because he looked very happy, if you remember, when we visited here in the child timeline. He was happily playing his music box and trying to come up with a song that goes around and around like the windmill. But here he is, livid. Grrr! I'll never forget what happened on that day 7 years ago. Grrr! It's all that Ocarina kid's fault. Next time he comes around here, I'm gonna mess him up. Interesting. He doesn't say anything else. But if we pull out our ocarina... What? You've got an ocarina? What the heck? That reminds me of that time 7 years ago. Back then, a mean kid came here and played a strange song. It messed up this windmill. I'll never forget this song. So, the man in the windmill teaches us this tune in the future, the Song of Storms. But he complained that he learned this song from a kid with an ocarina 7 years ago. Later on in the game, of course, we will head back to the windmill and we'll play the Song of Storms, teaching it to the man and messing up the windmill. Because of that, the Song of Storms has no origin. It's a bootstrap paradox, because Child Link teaches it to the man, who eventually teaches it to Adult Link 7 years later, who then goes back in time and teaches it to the man. So somewhere in this time loop, the Song of Storms appears. It has no origin, which is absolutely perfect because, like the windmill, and like the song the man was originally trying to compose, it goes around and around through time, passed between adult and child era, without a true origin. But before we head back into the graveyard, because there is actually one more thing I want to do, not only show off some things in Dampé's grave, but also there's a piece of heart we can grab. I want to turn it to night. Actually, now it's night, I can actually just use the hook shot. What? Now it's night? Now I have the hook shot, sorry. I can use it. Okay, even with the C buttons, you're going to see some misinputs. That's just going to be a part of this, big part of this LP, I think. But let's line it up. Nice. So now we can talk to this guy. If you want to chat. Do you want to chat? To get a good view, use up and look around with control stick. So when we grabbed the piece of heart of this guy in the past, he said something about, oh, glad to see you again, or something like that. That's because you're meant to see him as Child Link and Z targeting from the ground to talk to him, but then you're not meant to actually reach these roofs until you're Adult Link, until you get the hook shot and you can do what I've just done. Can we enter the potion shop at night? We can. Okay, brilliant. I didn't know if it's shut. So, this is another place I really wanted to show off quickly, although it'll become more relevant later on. I heard that the Lost Woods, where fairies live, is a strange place with many mysterious smells. I wish I could just once make medicine with some of the strange things I might find there. I may not be able to see very well anymore, but my nose still works fine. Hee hee hee. One weird thing about her, that again I'll park this in your memory and I'll come back to this, is that she has a tiger cub as a pet that she's stroking. Which seems like such a bizarre detail. Why has she got a tiger cub? There's no tigers in Ocarina of Time, and even if there were tigers, why would you have a tiger cub as a pet? But that is actually something that becomes relevant later. There's a small detail, which I'll point out later on in the game. I believe since we last... 43. I think since we last visited the House of Skulltula, we have hit another milestone. Yeah, I don't think this guy was healed before. So what's our reward for that? It is Bomb Chew. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so some of the rewards from the House of Skulltula are definitely more useful than others. But now it's night. I did want to show off Impa's house. So Impa obviously was the one that opened up Kakariko Village during the Civil War. And the village has since been opened up again to Hyruleans. And in her house now, we see that various people, there's the Cuckoo Lady, the dancers. Is it just those two? I could have sworn there was more. But either way, let's talk to these people. Please don't tease my cuckoos. Okay, I won't. What have you got to say? Nobody believes what I've been telling them all these past 7 years. Well, maybe because you're not telling anyone what... Okay, right. And this guy. If that lady asks you about chickens, you should listen to her. Okay, I'm not going to lie, that was less juicy on the lore front than I expected it to be. But yeah, there are people using Impa's house, which is cool. Strange that the Cuckoo Girl doesn't have her own place, considering she's part of this Kakariko family, along with the guy who sat beneath the tree at night in the Child era, the Master Craftsman, and various characters like that. But either way, now we've got the hookshot, we can return to Dampé's grave. And can I hookshot you? I can't remember. Well, not when you're invisible, no. Whoa! Didn't mean to do that. That was close. Let's ignore him for now. And let's pull this and head back into Dampé's grave. Yes, because although you race him the first time for the hookshot, we can race him again for a piece of heart. But before I do that, I'm going to deliberately go the wrong way, just to kind of point out some of the extra little bits you can see in here. So obviously down there is just some bones. I think the bit I'm really thinking about, unless it's here. Okay, no, okay. You can loop back round to Dampé there. I didn't know that. There is somewhere where there's a re-dead. Need to make sure I get through the door. In one of these tunnels, which is cool and, makes sense considering this is still Kakariko Graveyard. You've got to assume that a grave this big, maybe he just gets a lot of real estate because he's the gravekeeper. But a grave this big has got to be kind of cutting into other people's graves, which are all full of re-deads apparently in Kakariko. So it makes sense that we'll eventually run into them. I can't remember which one it is though. Here, okay, nice. Yeah, there's a re-dead in here with a kind of big animal skull behind him, which is cool. It's one of those things where, I mean, usually you wouldn't see that because you'd be following Dampé very closely. Can you hear this way as well? Maybe you can. Yeah, okay, that's cool. But it's just cool to see that there's that extra stuff there. But still, enough messing around. Let's try and beat him. So, I know you can use the hook shot to try and cut off a couple of seconds. At the very end where there's that big chasm, you can hook shot across it by grabbing onto a torch. The only thing is, I'm not 100% certain whether it's the hook shot or the long shot you need for that. And I know if I line it up, I'm going to screw my run by lining it up, and then if it turns out you did need the long shot instead, I'm going to have to do this again. So I'm going to try and just beat him fairly, and just run faster than him. We'll see if that works. Maybe do some tactical rollings to beat him. We'll see. But yeah, you can skip this area when you have the hook shot. Again, like I said, I don't know if it has to be the long shot. We should be good. We just need to get to the end within a minute, but we've got plenty of time to get our reward. Yeah, we're all good. The time of this race was 54 seconds. You're back, young man. Was the present I gave to you fun and useful? There we go. 20 seconds. Making progress with these now. And let's head back through the windmill into Kakariko Village. I remember there's a sculpture that I forgot to get last time. I believe it's on the roof. The roof near Impa's house. So we'll make sure to grab that. But then, I think, let's go see what's happened to Talon, the man who's apparently been fired. Yeah, but before we do, we'll head over to the roof of Impa's house, which I forgot to visit before, where there's another sculpture. So this is something we couldn't have got before we had the hook shot. I believe, yeah, no, I don't think there is a way to get it without the hook shot. If I manage to hook onto the roof. You can get it later with the long shot, which is probably easier, but we can use the roof of the House of Sculpture. If I can line this up, maybe I need to go a bit forward. This is so finicky on the Nintendo 64. There we go. Okay. 2 on the back wall, grab this. And this is much easier now because our hook shot one-shots them, so no faffing around with 2 boomerang strikes. But yeah, that's 44 gold sculptures. You can see there the inflamed summit of Death Mountain. So every region, okay, let's try to jump on there, is having difficulties, much like the regional phenomena in later games. So, everything done in Kakariko Village with our new treasure of the Sheikah, because we can assume that this is a Sheikah item, considering that Dampé held on to it. He even had it in the past. He mentioned it in his past journal. And he's, you know, the gravekeeper in a Sheikah village. We can assume that this is some sort of Sheikah item, which, you know, is pretty cool. Maybe you could take that as an early iteration of Sheikah advanced technology, perhaps. Because obviously Breath of the Wild was the game that really stepped up on that. But Skyward Sword also had a lot of advanced Sheikah technology. You have the Lanayru mining facility and all of the ancient robots there, which seem to have some connection with the Sheikah, given that the Sheikah Eye can be seen on some of the time shift stones. So all throughout the timeline, the Sheikah have been more advanced than other races of Hyrule. But here we are, approaching Lon Lon Ranch, which was a beautiful, peaceful place in Link's childhood. Let's see what's happened now. I think, are we still at night? Maybe we are. Can we see anything? Is he? Let's see. I can't remember if he's here at night or only in the day. Yeah, okay, let's turn it to day. I think I've, you know, in like the last second of night. But if we turn it to day, using the sun song. Here we are, okay. So we've still got the beautiful, peaceful music. I actually can't remember what the inside of the house looks like in the future. Cuckoos everywhere. I don't think the bedroom changes. I think that's still the same. Yep, still complete the same. Do some robbing. Only 1 rupee this time. Oh no, there's more pots over there. Yeah, let's head out and talk to the new ranch owner, because this is Talon's ranch, or at least it was. So, how's he been fired? Let's find out. There are some people in Kakariko spreading rumours that I cheated Talon out of the ranch, but don't be ridiculous. That guy Talon was weak. I, the hard-working Ingo, poured so much energy into this place. I don't want any strangers like you saying anything bad about me. Listen, the great Ganondorf recognised my obvious talents and gave the ranch to me. I will raise a fine horse and win recognition from the great Ganondorf. Say, young man, do you want to ride one of my fine horses? Pay me 10 rupees and you can ride. Do you want to hear how to ride? Should be good. Heh. So it brings us in here, where we can ride any horse, but this one will run away from us, of course, unless we pull out our ocarina and play... What is it? Da-da-da. There you go. Took me a bit of fiddling with the notes to get that one. Unless we play Epona's song, which obviously is Malon's mother's song that we learned in the past. and allows us to ride this horse, Epona herself. And immediately get off. Good, that was the wrong button. And now we can ride around and jump over these things, which is cool. I think there's the big one. I think you can also jump the big one. You just need to yeah, be boosted. Nice, and get some rupees for it. But now we've got this, if we head on over to Ingo and speak to him. When you want to dismount, stop and press A. Hey, young man, do I know you? I just felt though I've seen you somewhere before. If you use Z targeting, you can talk to me from horseback. Are you ready to go home soon? No, I want to ride. When your time's up, I'll kick you out of here. Do you have to keep talking to him when you want to dismount? No. Okay, when your time's up. I thought you had to do these jumps, so he kind of recognizes your skill as a horse rider or something before he races us. Have I run out of time? Okay, time's up, young man. You only need 10 rupees. You've played around long enough. Okay, let's have another go. Pay me 10 rupees. Do you want to hear how to ride? Okay. Well, maybe we do need to learn how to ride, considering I've forgotten how to get Epona out of here. You do the jumps and then talk to Ingo. I must have just not lined them up correctly. But anyway, let's play Epona's song again. Because, yeah, I don't think I mentioned, maybe. But either way, yeah, this is Epona. This is the young horse that we met 7 years ago in Lon Lon Ranch when Malon taught us Epona's song. If I can actually ride her. Yeah, grown up, just like Link. So now she's a full-sized mare, full horse, that adult Link is able to ride, which is great. Okay, let's jump that. Jump that. So we got the rupees from there. Did I get the rupees? Okay. Did I get the rupees last time? I'm going to try once more just for good measure. Okay, maybe there just aren't rupees on the little one. Let's do a big circuit and then go talk to him. Okay, I think maybe I just didn't line them up right. I know you have to do the jumps and then talk to Ingo. You're getting better. How about a little race with me? One lap around the coral with that horse. Let's make a little wager. Say 50 rupees? Let's do it. And we're off to the races. Wah! So, Ingo kind of plays dirty here. He beats the ever-loving daylights out of his horse. But, if we just pace ourselves and take it easy along the inside lane here, he's not too difficult to beat. Link and Epona are an ultimate team, so we can make it work. I do like the horse controls in this. Like I said, you know, they're simple, but they do the trick. They're absolutely fine. Shoot! If the great Ganondorf found out about this humiliation... Hey, you! How about another race? If you win, you can keep the horse. Okay. This one's for all the marbles. This one's for Epona herself. So this is obviously the first appearance of Epona in the series, which is really cool. Her name coming from, I believe, the Norse god of horses. Don't quote me on that. I know it's from definitely a kind of a deity from mythology. Let's not lose to Ingo. Take it easy, take it easy. Inside lane. And we're all good. Photo finish. I think you got me. Did you get me? Wow, you're just a kid after all. Come back anytime. Ouch, that'll hurt our coffers. Alright, let's go again. Okay, we've got to do the first race first. Again. Not the end of the world, though. Yeah, I believe Epona's name comes from Epona, the god of horses in Norse mythology, which is cool. And another little kind of lore tidbit about her that I really like is something that Skyward Sword did with the Crimson Loftwing. Of course, Epona is a red mare. So it kind of, you know, suggests that even throughout time, even thousands of years before the events of Ocarina of Time, Link is still spiritually bound to his steed. This kind of, he's always meant to ride a red steed, which is really cool. And of course, the Crimson Loftwing was also retroactively used as the symbol on Link's Hylian shield there. You can see that red bird, which obviously later on Now we can have the context of the Crimson Loftwing, but at the time that didn't exist. Come on! I need to keep my carrots for the final stretch. Okay, 1. Yes! There we go. Epona's ours. What's up with that horse? Is that Epona? How did you tame that wild horse right under my nose? I was going to present that horse to the great Ganondorf, but I bet it on the race and lost. Shoot! Ha ha ha. As I promised, I'll give the horse to you. However, I'll never let you leave this ranch. And he shuts the gates, which now have Ingo's face on, which is pretty hilarious. But, even though he's locked us in, that's not going to stop us. We can ride Epona at this fence, with a dash. We leap into Hyrule Field. The hero of time has awoken, and his steed is at his side. His quest is laid out before him to awaken the sages and break Ganondorf's chokehold of Hyrule. And there we go. So, that's where I'm going to end this episode of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. The game's really getting going now, and next time we're going to head back to Link's home, to the Kakiri Forest, and head to see Saria. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already for more episodes of this, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers guys, and I'll see you next time.